you know, or a carpenter that walks into an abandoned building, a carpenter will look at the building and say, look, this can be a mansion, but people on the outside, look, that's an abandoned building, you know what I'm saying? So, the same way in the music industry, you know, we can hear the music and be like, oh, this can be a song if you know, have it mixed down and produced properly, but the people, they're not going to, view it like that or hear it like that. So, I try to tell them, look, get your mastering done, get your music right properly. When you bring it to me, let it be right so when people hear it, you know, it's in their face.
So they clear the dance floor in a second, huh?
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I'm just really trying to open it up because what's really going to be important for this session is your questions and the things that's on your mind. So, as Steve Harvey would say, top 5 answers on the board, the top 5 answers so far. Don't just bring me anything fresh on the jump drive like Clayton because it's hot, because everybody's hot. So we're going to call that, it's hot. Other answer. Ratings, what do you say? Ratings and
revenue.
Ratings and revenue. Corporate. I'm in a corporate situation and I have got to make sure that the songs that I play don't run people off to my competitors. So competition. And then Rick said, well, we kind of got a little different kind of relationship here. We can be more one-on-one to really understand what it is that you have, but don't bring me a whole bucket full of songs.
Well, and to clarify too, as we joke around the station, don't suck. You know, it's gotta be good. You know, you should see some of the stuff that doesn't make the cut. You know.
Right. So, audience. Now you've heard from the radio side, like I said, top 5 answers on the board. Now we're gonna talk to the artists and the producers, and then we're gonna turn around and talk to you. So we're gonna keep it coming on down the line there. So Mr. Tim Terry and Mr. Dale. Mr. Dale, you kind of wearing a couple of hats here. He's a manager, he's a producer, and he's an artist himself. He wearing all kinds of hats. Tim Terry, now I would say for the artists in the room, you are an independent artist, you are not signed to a major label, and you did have a record or may currently have music that is being played on commercial radio. So what was your secret? How did you do it?
When the opportunity came about, I was ready. Memphis doesn't, at the time, Memphis radio, like I say, Earle was saying, they would play the current hits. So at the time, V101 had a situation where they were featuring local artists. And I got the call if I had some music that was presentable. And that was the current problem. They didn't have, of the local talent here in Memphis, they didn't have music that was presentable. It wasn't at that level. It wasn't, after you finish playing the Mansion record, can I slide your record on? Are you on that same level? So I got an opportunity, and my music, it met the standard. And so from that, they put that in rotation. It was in rotation for first single, Ooh, was in rotation for routinely for over a year. And then my next single, Loyalty, came out, and it was in rotation for a while. And then I had the privilege of having my music played. She played the at 103.5 at the time, and she did something totally different. She was like, okay, that's what they're playing over there, so I'm just going to do something totally different. She played a totally different a song on the record over you, and it had like a Police Sting type feel to it. So that was the more eclectic market that she was shooting for. But the thing was for me to be competitive with the big boys. As an independent artist, who am I competing against? Am I competing against you? No, I need to be able to, when Anthony Hamilton's record come on, I want somebody to be able to say, hey, who's that? His record, that brother's record sounds good as well. The sonics is right there. The lyrics are talking about something. I'm not the greatest singer in the world, but L.A. Reid said it best. It's not the singing business. Not the singing business. You know what I mean? So I live by that. Everybody's not going to dig my music. Everybody may not like it. that there's a market for my music, and I'm constantly trying to reach that market. I have fans overseas. There are people in Memphis that may not know who I am, but I have fans in Japan and Switzerland, all over the world via the social media platform, and it's about that hustle. Get out and grind. I am my own, I don't have a label, but I'm my own management, my label, my social media person. It's non-stop. It's me. The buck stop with me, it start with me, and it ends with me. So that's my story.
Awesome story. Your top five, and when we said the top 5 answers on the board, yours gonna be compatibility. You at that level? I gotta be at the same level as Anthony Hamilton and Eric Benet and all those R&B groove singers. I got to be in the same place. So, Mr. Dale, I just don't really know which direction to start in. I think I'm gonna start at. Let's go with because you are an artist, but you're also a producer, also a label head. So maybe for you, and then I can go into Kurt and Jason here at the same time.
Transition.
Yeah, you're going to transition. Totally works. Totally works. But now, you are a hip-hop artist, a Christian hip-hop artist, who was a member of 3-6 Mafia. So how do you present yourself? I mean, when you present Mr. Dale, whether they know about the 3-6 Mafia history, or even what they know about now, but as an artist, and we're going to flip that so we can go into these two guys, but presentation, because radio stations like that, you heard all the guys say, they send me this, they send me that, so I think presentation is a big key. I don't know, when we come back in the radio, people can tell us that, but I sometimes would think that you might be in a little bit of a quandary there. Like, what is Mr. Dale in this whole mix?
Yeah. Well, I think I have a problem socially that works good for me professionally, and I'm very analytical. Like, and I'm a strategist. So the way I approach it now, like, I believe that the era we're living in now with social media is to the point where really you don't need radio, and you can set yourself up that radio can come to you. So what I mean by that is I believe in letting your audience, if you're on social media, I believe in letting them pick the music as far as you picking it. Because there's been certain times that, like, well, first of all, I'm a music lover, so it's been times that I have heard songs and been like, okay, I know this gonna hit, and then it hits. And then there's been other times that I've produced a record or put out a record, and then people flock to a song that I thought, I'm like, golly, they like that song? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, you're selling to the consumer. It's not about you liking and feeling yourself. You in the music business. It's what they want to hear from you. So, like with social media, that's the best way to put your music out. Put it on SoundCloud, Spotify. Even though I don't agree with streaming because we don't get much money from streaming, but it's a good way to look at the numbers and see, oh man, people are listening to this song more than any other track I got on the record. So that's what it, to me, can be used as, okay, well, this is the one I need to push to radio. This is the one I need to present. I believe in, I guess my answer in this sense will be testing your music. Testing the music before you take it to Tracy. One of my artists that I have that I'm developing now, her name is Murph. She has a viral hit called P31. And before it even got to Tracy, she had already, it went viral on YouTube. She toured 15 cities over the summer, and it just blew up. Her video got on Magic Johnson's network, Aspire, and now they're playing it on JCTV. So the song was already a hit. So by the time it came across Tracy's desk, it was just like, oh, this is no-brainer. Yes, play it. Because it's already been tested. It's already been proven. And that way you don't have to kind of fight and prove that this is hot. No, I got 5,000 people that say it's hot. And at the end of the day, just like Tracy said, it's about revenue and ratings. And if you got 5,000 people that like your song, that's 5,000 people that's going to be tuning in to her station. So you're bringing in revenue, you're bringing in an audience. And with me doing Christian rap, it's like, it's a sub-genre of a genre. So in order for us to even have the action that we now have on Hallelujah, we needed to do the numbers. People like myself, Ken Jones, Molly Music, Lecrae. We had to sell those records before radio, TV, and everybody came knocking on the door saying, okay, what else you got? So at the end of the day, you know, it's definitely about testing with the audience that you already have. If you got 200 people on your Facebook, you know, another, you know, 200 or 250 on Twitter, then that's for almost 500 people, and that you can basically run the numbers with. And just put your song out there and see how many like it. And then that's how you decide what gets taken or what gets presented to radio.
All right. You hearing? So we got comparable, we got test and build. Because if you bring something to the radio station, your chances are far greater than just play my song.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to be compatible. And we're going to build an audience, and we're going to test it before we bring it to the station. Now, stay where you are, Mr. Dan, because I come back to you. The guys that polish it, they're the ones that polish it, right? They're the ones that say, okay, we're going to put the this and the that. I don't know. We want to talk to you guys two things. It's kind of like a two-part question. Like, we realize the beauty of technology and how we can go on the internet and find whatever we need, and we can produce our song because I went on the internet and I downloaded whatever I downloaded, and then it told me that I could produce my record that way. And I also have Reason on my computer, so I get all this. I know exactly what I need to do. So I'm gonna call y'all because I heard y'all produce, but I just want you to know I already produced my song. My song already hot. But I need you, since you polish it, tell me how important it is what you do, what you guys do in that polishing process, because I need to take my record to radio. I think I heard I think Tim was saying that, you know, we just played Janet Jackson. She way up here. Now here you come. Earle got to find you're charging him with finding a place because your levels are way down here. So you're not mixed. Maybe you're not even mastered. Maybe you just, hey, Reason said I was in the right place over here. So you guys are the polishers. So how important is what you do that just might, I'm thinking justify, but justify is not the right word. Well, maybe make my chances a little bit easier. At least Tracy listening. Because sometimes it's like, okay, they might look at it and go, okay. Oh, or they might look on it and say, oh, Jason Clark produced this. So you're dealing with your own personal reputation. You're dealing with what you do to make that record what it is before it goes to the radio station. And then I think the last part of this question is, what is the process that you use before you will say, produced by Jason Clark, produced by Kurt Casey, Clayton, that you say, this record is ready? Take it.
That's a loaded question. Number one, as a producer, it's our job, as a true producer, it's our job to let artists know that, number one, they're not producers. They are artists. It's our job to take the artist and take what the artist has, if they have something, because not all artists are songwriters. You know, and it's our job as producers to kind of manage the talent overall. And managing the talent is, if Tim Terry is the artist, and we know what his style is, but Tim Terry is not a songwriter, then it's our job to go through our Rolodex of connections and get, and basically marry the songwriters that we know that can write for Tim Terry. And at the same time, if it's because we know his style, and his style is more live music driven. So it's also our job to basically get the right musicians to play for Tim Terry that's going to give the Tim Terry, create the Tim Terry sound. And at the same time, get the right studio that can record that sound. Get the right engineers that can mix that sound. Well, get the right engineer that can record that sound, and then get the right engineer that can mix that sound. And as well as get the right engineers that can master that sound, because it's a lot of processes. And on top of that, we still have to have the insight as producers to think like radio and think like the consumers and basically try to predict and hopefully predict what the industry is going to be wanting 6 months to a year from now, because your record is not coming out right after we record it. It's a process. And it's this. You got to market it, you got to put it on social media and all these other. So it may be 8 months to a year before anyone really hears you. But you still got to make sure that that record is still relevant.
Yeah.
And that's what producers have to deal with. Not just, are you hot? But are you hot a year from now, 2 years from now? Or what you have, is it marketable in that process? You know, because a lot of people think, like you said, and to diffuse a lot of it, just because you have Pro Tools, just because you have Cubase, just because you have Logic or whatever, that does not make you a record producer. You know, experience in this industry, at the same time, the experience and the connections that we have gathered through the years with radio and our reputations, because yes, it took a long time for Tracy Bethea to say, okay, Kirk Clayton, okay, at least I'll listen to that because I know what I'm going to get, as opposed to, you know, Kirk Clayton book. Who is that? So once again, your name is everything, and in this industry, a lot of times your reputation is all that you have. You can have a good reputation or a negative reputation. And as true producers, when you're walking in and you're standing behind that brand, and that brand is that artist, because the last thing, well, the final product is what you envision that artist to be, and it has to be a trust factor. That artist has to trust the producer, and the producer has to basically believe in that artist.
So you guys are Grammy, Dove nominated, and produced Tennessee Mass Choir. So it's kind of like understanding just what a day in the life is like. I mean, when you go into that studio and sit behind the board, what's going on in your world?
Well, I think one thing as producers, one gift that we do have that's completely intangible is we have the gift of knowing what the music is supposed to sound like, you know. And that's the reason why a producer is so important. You know, one mistake that I see a lot of artists make is they go out and get out some of the hottest musicians, and just because they can play, they think they can produce their record. That's not the case. Well, that's serious. Well, what you might have is a musically hot song or whatever, but they didn't take you through the processes. You know, one thing about me, I really try to get into the subconscious of people. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes you have music that's too difficult. And I know that happens in gospel a lot, where it's too wordy. You got so many words, all this and that, whatever, and sometimes it works, but most times, sometimes people want to hear what's recognizable, what's memorable, and things like that. And one thing with me, I know that's the one thing that I really shoot for, is if it's memorable, people are more than likely are going to not only just vibe, but they're going to be singing it at their churches and things like that as well. You know, one thing, say for instance, there's an artist, High Trigger. He's a phenomenal artist, sells, you know, a lot of records or whatever. But the year that Every Praise came out, it outsold everything that he did. You see what I'm saying? There's a song, Every Praise, by Hezekiah Walker. It was simple, it was catchy, and a lot of people gravitated to it or whatever. And so, you know, one thing that we do as producers, you know, just like Kirk said, you know, we try to think for the radio people. We try to think in a standpoint of making it hot, making it comparable or whatever to everything else that's hot. One last thing that I do is, when I'm done with the mix and producing and stuff like that, I send it to other hot producers. You see what I'm saying? I would send it to a KC or I send it to a Marquee and all this and that and be like, man, give me your honest opinion. What am I working with? Sometimes they'll come back and be like, all right, turn up the snare a little bit, or turn this up a little bit, turn that up a little bit. Sometimes they'll be like, man, it's perfect, don't touch it or whatever. But it's just like the Bible says, iron sharpens iron. You see what I'm saying? So my thing is, we run it past each other. Other hot producers that, you know, that have hot records out and things like that, don't be afraid to be green sometimes.
And respect each other.
Right, exactly. Don't be afraid to be green and be like, hey, I don't know it all, so let me pass it on to him. and let me see what his thoughts are or whatever, because at that point you're really growing. And at that point you can't miss if you're constantly having these music professionals that already have hot music out there. Everybody's they're saying that if they're giving you the nod, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna give you the nod. You see what I'm saying? 9 times out of 10, they're gonna give it to you because of the simple fact you're taking it through the fire or whatever. So like I said, don't be afraid to be green. Don't think you know it all or whatever, because all of us are still grinding, all of us are still growing and everything like that. But
there are times producers will trade off. And
Right.
what I mean by that is, if Tim Cherry's doing a record, but I don't think I'm the right producer for it,
Right.
but I think Jason is the right producer for it, then it's a feather in my cap if I say, let me call Jason, because I know, I mean, it could be a co-production situation,
exactly.
but I know Jason's bringing something to the table that's going to basically make the best of their record. And that's the most important thing. You want to get the best record out there.
Right.
So what I'm hearing is not really a feud, that you just got to get off your butt and do the work with all these, with all these different pieces. So, I mean, I know you guys in the audience, something has popped into your head. A question has come to you from listening to what these guys are saying. Like he was saying in terms of matching the song with the artist. Tracy over there said, you got to praise God in the 4 minutes. You know? I love God.
4:30.
What about you? What's that song? So, even with that particular song, like it sounds like a club song, but she's saying, I love God. What's wrong with you? So, I don't know how does a song like that work, and that's just what's in my head, but I really want to hear from you guys in the audience, because you have the information here and the questions that's looming around. You can get the answers to here and the now, right now. Maybe you're still thinking, Darryl, what should we ask? Darryl, you've been signed to a major record label and had hits. You need to be sitting up here. Why you sitting in the back right there? But Darryl Pettis, ladies and gentlemen, Darryl Pettis. You're like, I don't know if I got a question right now. Okay, well, I got a question. Let's talk about, because we said Family Feud, is it radio, is it your music? And we talked to DJ Stylez here. So the people on the radio end, you guys be thinking at the same time, because you're artists and you're producers, how important is it? Because that's what's looming in my head with the Earle Campbell song. How important is it for radio and the streets to interact, to have a relationship? Do you need to have a relationship? Do you need to have what's hot on the streets? He just said a minute ago, I got 5,000 friends on social media that's loving my record and I guess maybe if I flip it, especially because I keep looking at you, Tracy, that if they shouting and bringing the walls down at church on Sunday, what does that mean to you at Hallelujah 9-5? 9-7, which one gonna get in there? 9-5. 95.7.
Dale made some very good remarks about how social media can help your music, but I also have to understand what the format of my radio station is. I'm not a hip-hop gospel station. I am a traditional, the majority of our music we play is traditional and contemporary, but I'm not crazy enough to not understand that. Well, I just got in from Nashville today. Last night was the Doug Awards. That's Christian music. Lecrae won Artist of the Year. And like Dale said, Lecrae was underground for a long time before the radio or gospel music began to hear from him. Well, I don't have an avenue to play hip-hop music now, and I'm saying that as of today, the way the station and the ratings and way it works, to play hip-hop music every other hour. But we do and have incorporated an hour of hip-hop music on Saturdays with RJ Groove and the Kingdom Party Mix. So there is an avenue for that. But I have to be able to have a relationship with the streets and know what's going on. And that's what I tell artists, whether it be hip-hop, contemporary, or traditional. there are ways for you to get your music out. Go to these churches, and it's not, radio should be your last point of interest. That's the biggest mistake for gospel artists. As soon as y'all get a record produced, y'all come and y'all run to me. And y'all haven't done anything in between time. You got to get out here and you got to go to these churches, and you got to go to these clubs, you got to go and hit the stage, and you got to go and create an audience for yourself. And then you come and you want us to play the radio, so play it on the radio. Well, what if we play it and we like the song? And the listeners calling, where can we get it? You don't have distribution. Well, tell them they can get it at such and such. My job is not to tell them where to get it. And we have people to this day that still think that we're supposed, that's not how it works. So your last point of contact should be radio. There's so many things after the song is produced that you need to get out and do. Get yourself a real manager, not your cousin or somebody that you trust. But you need to get out here and you need to learn the industry. I'm disappointed. I know we promoted this on our radio station. There should be more gospel artists here. They really think they know the business and they don't know, and so they should be here. They should go to not just for gospel music. You need to know the industry, period. And understand that there's a process in what you need to go through before you get to us.
So keep that dialogue going, because Ricky said, you're slightly different, and so maybe the
Yeah, a little bit, but not too far off.
Not too, so let's kind of roll into it, and you too, Earle.
Yeah, I mean, we're interested in how an artist is related to their fans. I mean, that's important what you guys were saying, that there has to be that underswelling before, because when they come to us and they say, hey, listen, check out this record, you're going to love it, it's great, and you go, well, I don't know who you are. And then we check you out on, on your social media, see how active you are. Social media is not the end all to be all. I mean, I'm still one of the guys that still likes to see bands go out and pay for their neighborhoods for shows, that kind of thing, and drag their things in. We like to see engagement. You can have 10,000 fans or 1 million people like your page, but if you have zero engagement, it's not going to show me that you're working with your audience. We'll do things. We have one of the shows that we have on Radio Memphis is a show called Radio Memphis Around the World, where we feature artists literally from all around the world. And it's a 3-hour show that runs on Saturdays. That because we're internet, our analytics show that we have listeners in 147 countries. I mean, we're spread all over the place. So we're getting a chance to sample music from Indonesia to Russia, all over through Europe, and we see how those fans interact with those bands as well, and that's important because if you bring in a band and you're going to talk to them, if you're going to do an interview with them, they're not telling their fans about it, then why should they help? We can't do it all. That's the thing about being a broadcaster. We can put it out there for folks and we can make it available to them. Now a lot of times when we do interviews, we'll ask artists, well, hey, where can fans get this? Because you may have just exposed that song or that artist to a completely different group of fans that may not have been expecting that. And they're going to sit there and go, that's awesome, where do I find them? Because it turns out a lot of people don't know how to use search engines online, but you have to break it down for them. And so we give the artists the opportunities to say, yeah, it's on iTunes, or it's on my personal website, it's wherever it is that they can get it. So that's kind of how we want to see that. Because when I was mentioning earlier that we have that one-on-one relationship with the artist, we have a lot of labels that come to us, a lot of independent labels that do come to us because they want to shop their artists to us as well, because they're looking to get these guys exposed and they're looking to get them out there. So we want to try and maintain those relationships as much as we can, but the indie scene is it's just vast, it's enormous, it's huge. So we have to kind of take it in little bite-sized chunks, and we have to work with people as quickly and as efficiently as we can. So you have to identify all of those factors real quick, and sometimes you don't want to feel like you're making a snap decision, but you might. And you have to be aware of that, and you want to be as fair as you possibly can. So I hope that answered that question.
Yes, and I kind of got something that's rolling around in my head, and I don't want to forget it because I want you to come back. We're going to talk, and you can play in it too, about how important live shows are, how important it is for the artists to really do a live show and interact with the audience, and how important is that to the guys on the end. But I want to go with something DJ Stylez said when he said he's in the club playing and the guy come up with the jump drive and said, play this right now. How important is presentation to you? How do you receive music? I mean, do you have a specific day that people can come to you and bring music? And secondly, is it important that my song be on a CD, or can I bring my jump drive, or can I bring a CD and I just take a Sharpie and say, I'm Billy, and the name of my song is Jean? Well, how important is presentation, and how believable am I as an independent artist when I bring you the CD that got Billy wrote at the top and Jean at the bottom, and ask you to play it? Or if I bring my jump drive, I mean, is that important?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, everybody has a track called Track 1. You know, put the title on it, that helps. You know, and people, I think, underestimate the value of an EPK, you know, electronic press kit. You know, have a presence, put some thought into your appearance, and how you want to, because you're your own salesman at that point. And if for a lot of young acts that don't have the money to get a PR person or a proper manager, which they should, and you're absolutely correct on that. I mean, you have to do it yourself at that initial push. Research it a little bit. It's not that hard to put a little bit of effort into it to make yourself look right. And you know, it's not like it's a competition with us at the station. You're going to get an honest look, but it does help if it's like, hey, looks like they have their act together. You know, so let's give it a look.
Earle?
I agree. Definitely do not send an email with a link saying check out my YouTube, because that defeats the whole purpose. That makes sure the presentation is right. And you were joking around saying, well, some people just write their name on a CD. I've got literally handwritten CDs. I mean, it's all about, you know, how you market yourself. I mean, how you look. It's like when you interview for a job, because what you're doing with us, you are interviewing, for lack of a better word, for a job on our station. You know, airtime. So the better the package, you know, the more chance we're going to actually stop what we're doing and listen to it. Of course, the talent, at the end of the day, is the most important thing, of course.
Right.
We talk about research, or how do we pick the songs. In these days, research departments have shrunk. Back in the day, we'd have call-out research departments dedicated to researching different songs and tracking the different songs. Nowadays, I'm the research department, or some people around the station might come in. So it is about really making connections with people in the community. But somebody might say, Earle, I heard this great song out in the club. DJ Stylez played this great song. The whole floor was packed. And I go, you need to check that out. So it is about engaging with everybody you know, not just having your cousin and your mama calling the station every 5 minutes requesting a song. We're way past that point now.
Now, Tracy, you know Brother Pastor don't have no EPK. So is it the same? Is it parity there that he's got to do the same thing that Mr. Dale or that Tim? It's the same. There's no, I understand Brother Pastor don't have EPK, so I'm still going to let him slide on in.
I mean, but, you know, sacrifice a pair of gators. And just take a photo shoot. Or it's not really hard to, there's so many things that you can do for free. You know, go to Walmart, get a 20-cent color folder and just put your picture on it. Just don't, I mean, we really get CDs today with notebook paper and they will write and put the song on it. And what I do is I don't have time because you aren't putting anything into, that's your brand. And see, what you need to think is if you're really serious about the artistry and being in the music industry, you got to think beyond your first single, your first CD.
Exactly.
You know, when will we be able to hear music that's just not a one-hit wonder? We're looking for music to play like Maze. I use Maze as a prime example. Maze ain't put out a CD in how many years? Still get major radio airplay and still can pack out a concert. Exactly. Where are those type of songs that we can play, the Richard Smallwoods that were back then? You need to be looking at this as a career for you. Therefore, you need to be branding yourself, and that's a part of branding yourself with just a simple picture.
Right.
So they still bring notebook paper.
Yes, ma'am. They still.
You know, spelling is important. It really is.
It's really,
Spell check, yeah.
Spell check.
Everybody has it.
There's kind of a running gag in the business that a lot of artists think that radio people are blind and deaf, and obviously that's not the case. But you want to make it to where it's as clear and question-free as humanly possible.
I'll tell you one thing that used to bug me, but that's been a long time ago. When they have the really cute names that you can't pronounce. And it's like they spell it one way, but it says something else.
Right.
And then you want to say it, but you're like, I know that's not. It's like, that used to bug me. I don't know if it bugs anybody now. I saw your hand. Question?
Some come to me.
Huh?
It came to me.
Okay.
Let me just first say that I'm glad to be here. And this panel from left to right is absolutely phenomenal. So I do encourage everyone in this room to go ahead on and open up. We really have professionals and experts that we can really trust in this room. So I want to say that. And I want to ask a question. It's probably far-fetched, but to me it's a grassroots to all of this. When did we get to the place where money makes our stars instead of the magic? So to speak, where it used to be a time where people recognized that this person just had the magic. They had that. And so we sent them through all these people because we believed that they just had the it. What I'm seeing a lot is that we're trying to teach people how to have the it. You can't teach people how to have the it. The it is just something you're born with. And it's so much more to being an artist out other than just I record well or I slam the stage. When do we get to the place where, to me, it just feels like as long as you got money, you can get the best of everything and it'll make you a star. But what happened to us recognizing that this person just got the it? They just got that magic, you know? And it goes from there, and all the kind of grassroots effects start to happen. You get producers who believe in you. You get radio who actually hear you, and instantaneously it's that connection. You know, what I'm saying may not make a lot of sense, but I just thought I wanted to put it out there because what I'm saying is, and if I can just be spiritual for a moment, I believe that God still anoints originality. What I'm saying, the reason why our music is suffering is because everybody's trying to mimic the previous success.
Right.
No, we have no originality no more. No real person that appears that's the light anymore. No more Whitney Houstons. You know, and so on and so on. No people that have that magic that will afford them longevity.
Well, you got a whole bevy of experts up here, but I'm going to say one thing and let them have it. I think the biggest of that problem you just described happened when record companies just started focusing on making records and not making music.
Right.
Well,
I mean, that's just the stage what I was about to say. The people that you're talking about who did the magic, Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, Luther Vandross, when these great maids, these great artists, what happened was an industry saw that magic and wanted to monetize it. Mm-hmm. So what happened was when you see all these great artists, they're like, okay, we want the next this. It wasn't about, and then when lawyers started taking over the music industry and corporations, like they're not musicians, they're not creatives, it's all about the corporation, our ratings and revenue. So they're saying, okay, well, who's big right now? Oh, we need the next him. And that's what labels would say. Like even when even back when I was a precinct and even in the, they were like, well, we need a song that sounds like this. Mm-hmm. And then that's why it takes people like you and I and other creative artists to create that magic, but then make the industry have to chase what we're doing as opposed to them basically pimping the magic.
And to go one step further than that, record companies started to become cheap.
And lazy.
Yep.
And lazy.
And lazy.
Yeah.
Because when we all started in this industry, record companies had A&R departments, they had development departments, you know, the artist development. In fact, they used to do development deals back in the day where they saw Tim Terry. He wasn't quite there yet, but we're going to give you $20,000 to go to Ardent Studio, cut a few more things, and get back with us. We see what you have, you know, out of these 5, we like these 3. Give us more of these 3. They don't do that anymore. And it got to a point, and then also, and part of that is because, you know, the illegal downloads and things like that played a big factor because record companies are not making the money that they used to make. off the records. You can't go to Boss Ugly Bob's, you know, anymore and buy a record. You can't go to Pop Tunes anymore and buy a record. You know, now, and it used to be a greatest hits was a greatest hits. When you bought Al Green's greatest hits, every song on that was a greatest hits. You know, but nowadays, and another problem is, it used to be where when you bought the record, you bought the entire catalog. You bought the entire record as opposed to just, unless you bought, you know, the single. But even with the single, you bought a B-side.
Right. Exactly.
But now you just pay 99 cents for what you want and forget the rest of it.
Yeah.
And so now record companies are saying, well, we can't take those risks
Right.
like that anymore. So now if Beyonce is hot, you know, but she's on, you know, she's on Sony. Well, we're not Sony, but we gotta have a Beyonce. You know, because right now everybody is loving Beyonce. So for us to compete in that marketplace, that's what we gotta have. It's not in that, but at the same time, on the expense side, this industry is expensive. Let's make sure everyone's clear about this. You can't expect to make $1 million on a $2 budget.
That's right. Come on.
You know, that's just being real. You know, what we do for a living, it costs. To be in a building like this, to record your record the right way, it costs. To market yourself to where you can get it played, you know, by these professionals, it costs. You know, to get in a trade magazine and to get exposure, even social media, the right way, it costs. So the problem that I've seen in this industry, more so in this region, is we don't want to do the grind and we don't want to spend the money. But we'll go to another region.
Oh, we go to Atlanta.
We'll go to Atlanta, and Atlanta say, listen, it's going to cost you $10,000 off the top. You're going to beg, borrow, and steal to get that $10,000 to get it out of Atlanta. But they don't care about you. But Mr. Dale got a label right here. They say, listen, I believe in you, but I still need you to make an effort too. But you want Mr. Dale to do all the work. So it's, you know, so it's that catch-22 that, unfortunately, you know, in this industry, record companies are not, they can't, you know, they can't, everybody's not making money. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. It's bottom line. So you have to understand and I wish somebody would Mr. Dale, but you have to understand from the record company standpoint, is their situation is very simple. If you are not compatible right now, for us to be able to spin your record, we gotta get us a Beyonce to cover our losses off of you.
Yeah.
So that's what happened.
I just feel like I see that that's a lot of the frustration and the pull and take that we're trying to get out of people who they're not.
Yeah.
You know, a person can have a one-hit wonder, you know, and they're here, and then we look for them again, but it's nothing else to them. Because we look to be an art, I might be old school, but to be an artist, you just got to have it all to me. Either you got a person that's connected in this area, that's not connected in this area. Either you got somebody that performs well, but they don't know how to speak to people in Kroger. You know, it just takes a lot to be. It takes a lot to be a successful artist. You know, but I'm just saying.
But that goes back to the development. It used to be where artists were developed. And artists, they were taught how to speak. They were taught, you know, they were taught. But most artists now, and I hate to say that, and any artist I think, but a lot of artists out here nowadays, they're lazy. They think they're already made. You can't tell them nothing.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah, how many times have you ever seen an artist come out with his mixed disc, you know, and he's just opened up the box, he's looking at it, and he looks at his phone immediately after that, waiting for it to ring. You know, because they're thinking that, you know, it happens all the time because they've been conditioned to think that, okay, I've done the work, I've made the record, now why is my phone not ringing?
Right.
You know, when they don't understand that the real work has begun, and to go with what, you know, what's been said up here too, looking for that next A, B, or C, that copy, that creative, that it's not there per se. And I tell young artists all the time, the real secret to this industry is pretty simple. Just provide something that they have never heard nor seen before, ever. You have to be original. You have to have something that is completely different. And I think a lot of times they get browbeaten and taken down because sometimes a producer or somebody might say, well, you know, we're actually looking for this.
Yeah.
You know, you look at those, like those America's Got Talent, stuff like that, they don't even know what they're looking for before the show even starts, you know? And it's frustrating for these guys.
I'll say this, to sort of bring it all together. From what I was hearing, Ray was saying, hey, your presentation matters. Presentation matters. What you bring to us, if it finally gets to us, it matters. So if it's not at a certain level, off top, spelling and presentation, it looks like crap, it's a wrap on it already. From the artist side of it, you go in, you're putting in your blood, sweat, and tears. It's like your child. This is my baby. You know, I'm hoping that everybody likes my baby. But there are some ugly babies. You know, we are. But with that being said, like, I look at success as if we all try to run through this door right now at the same time, all of us is not going to get through. So with our artists trying to be the next Beyonce or whatever, be you. Prince says it best. Dude, I make music, I put it out there, you dig it. Prince music is eclectic, it's all over the place, but he has such an artist, such an audience.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do if you're a new artist coming out and nobody has ever heard of you. And you're trying to gain and capture the audience. But it also can be a good thing. What do you have to lose? I'm making my own record, so I can put out whatever type of music I want on my record. I don't have a label. So if I want to do a reggae song, if I want to do a rock song, if I want to do some soul music, if I want to have a gospel cut on there, it's my record. And now, as we're in an independent, the artist time, you know, whatever my record, when I'm finished with all of my packaging, I need to be able to put it, when I finish and when I do a show, I want to be able to present just like the big boys. I got t-shirts. I'm a brand. I'm my own brand. I have t-shirts. I got wristbands. It's breast cancer month. I got breast cancer t-shirts. I'm selling me. I got my signature, my logo. I even tried to get a drink patent off of my song Ooh Wee. Seriously, because if you have a movement, why not? Why not? They're doing it. They're doing it. Why can't I do it? Nobody outside of Memphis knows who you are. So, some folks in Memphis know me, so I'm going to try. So, with that, I'm presenting just like Beyonce would do. I had the idea, I don't have the budget to, but it doesn't require a big budget. For your project, you can put out a video with every song on YouTube. It don't cost you a lot of money to put a video out with an iPod, iTunes, you know, whatever. It may not be of that quality and of that exotic, but you can do some things. JJ Icefish has over 1 million views. So I refuse to believe that you can't put out your music, your original music, your originality, and become successful at that. You might not be making $1 million, but that $1.29 adds up. Like you were saying, Ms. Dale said, hey, Spotify, it's some pennies. Them pennies, they add up. They add up. So, you have to put yourself in position with the social media networks and outlets that you have to be successful and competitive.
Now, one thing when you said it made me think about Big Rob and Bishop Bullwinkle.
Oh my God.
The song called Hell to the North.
Yeah.
He got like 6. He got like 6 minutes.
Big Rob and I, we did a song called Southern Girl. And it had been out for 6 months. Well, this artist by the name of Bishop Bullwinkle,
Right.
he took the track
Hell to the North.
and he basically recorded over the track. He didn't call us. He illegally recorded over the track. He uploaded on YouTube, a song called Hell to the North now. He got 2 million hits. He's out on tour.
He burned it up in Mississippi.
He burned up one in Mississippi.
But hold on, let me tell you, listen, the reason I say he's burned up in Mississippi, because I was in Mississippi and we were talking about music, and the young lady said to me, do you have Bishop Bullwinkle Hell to the North? I didn't know what she was talking about. So we sit there, like it had been like, say, 30 minutes later, my nephew in Seattle, Washington, gets on the phone and we're talking, and what he was calling for was for me to send him some blues out there, and just to send me some hot music. And so I was telling him, I was naming off stuff I was going to send him. He said, you have Bishop Bullwinkle? I said, Bishop Bullwinkle, who? What is that? He said, Bishop Bullwinkle,
You cannot.
Now this guy gotta be, he's more simple than the guy that had the, what was his name? Had that song spent like $200 on a video, Wild Thing. What that, you know, he had a song called Wild Thing. Huh? Tone Low. Who spent literally no money on the video. Actually, kind of copied off Robert Palmer, his concept.
Yeah.
But I mean, it just blew completely left. So sometimes it kind of get back to what you said, Stylez. Like, you gotta give people what they want, and if you come up with something that really engages the listener, because I don't know what engaged people on Hell to the No.
But just the title. First of all, once again, the title alone catches you.
Yeah.
It's a catch.
Everybody know which
Hell to the No.
Hell to the
Hell to the No. And you can put that to anything. Can I have somebody? Hell to the No. Did I get a job? Hell to the No. So, but that's, but those are things that drives even songs for radio. When they hear a certain title, sometimes DJs are interested and say, well, that's a catchy title.
Right.
And they're interested in want to play that song. Simply because of the title.
I think we had a question over here.
Hail to the No, around the fire department right now. First of all, my name is Robert Baker, my wife Angela Baker. We have a daughter who's an artist. Her name is Miracle. And I appreciate all of you all coming. We came to the last forum, and it was so helpful to us. Ms. Clayton, great advice, everything. And appreciate it. I'm surprised. That's why I was going on 2 wheels coming around here through the traffic. I said, I can't miss this one because I thought the line would be out. I'm kind of like this guy. I'm kind of disappointed because you can't get this every day. You can't get this all the time. I appreciate you, Ms. Long. Okay, my question. He was talking about the it factor that people have. My daughter and Mr. Clayton told us in the last forum, you probably don't remember this, but just like Mr. Chetter, but everybody don't have a pretty baby. I believe in my daughter. She's been singing for a long time, and we know about putting in the work. I believe she got the it factor. I'm the kind of person, if one of my kids come to me or somebody come to me and say, well, how does it sound good? If you don't want the truth, don't ask me because I'm going to tell you the truth. No, that don't sound good. Even now when we go to certain places where she performed and people come up to me, how about this song? That 3-second song, now I don't want to hear it. So I believe there's a lot of talent here in Memphis. The places that she performed, I've heard some beautiful talent. And Memphis Music Commission last weekend, that was outstanding show. Pretty much everybody was up there with outstanding, but I believe that they don't do the work. They don't know how to do the work. My wife and I try to take the aspects from around my daughter for she to just be creative and write a song and sing a song. But I think if you don't come to forums like this or don't research how to become a better artist or how to become a better person in the music industry, you won't get anywhere. Even if you have that it factor, if you're not researching and know how to get out there, you're not going to go anywhere. So I appreciate you all coming in. I appreciate all the advice that you give me. My wife always taking notes and everything. So we're going to use everything. To answer your question, I think it's an it factor out there. They have the it factor. They just don't have the support, or they don't have the drive to find out how to put the work in, or where to put the work in, and how to put the work in, or how to be presentable to these people up here on the panel.
Is your daughter, what type of artist is she?
She's a pop artist.
And you say she's a singer?
She's a singer and songwriter.
Singer-songwriter, okay. And I know you're the parents, and I'm just give you some wisdom.
We take
I
everything.
haven't heard her. I don't know, if she's, I haven't heard her. But it's important that there's a difference between what she sounds like live on stage versus what will be recorded and played on the radio. And also, she may be a great singer or a good singer, but she may be a better songwriter. or vice versa. Vice versa. There are some people that God gave me this song, I want to sing this song, or whatever genre of music it is. But they also, just because they wrote it, they want to sing it, and they miss out.
Right.
They may be a better songwriter than they are singing the song. Because at the end of the day, the songwriter is the one that gets paid, really paid, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying I don't know, but I'm just saying consider, that's something to consider. You know, if she is a great producer, singer, songwriter, that's great. But there are a lot of upcoming artists that are great songwriters, but that don't mean you necessarily have to sing your song.
That's just confirmation of what we've been dealing with this last week or two. And I've been trying to get, she had an opportunity to write a couple of songs for someone in California. And she's like, I feel funny writing for these people, for my music. I said, maybe that's where the money's gonna be at.
I ain't worried, I had no problem. I ain't worried, I had no problem. She write a song for Missy Elliott, turn around and write one for Travis Tritt, come back and write one for Lil Wayne, and that's what, and she's,
you right.
She won't feel funny cashing the check.
she's not feel funny cashing that check, boy.
I said, you just keep writing whatever you do.
Just keep writing, always writing, never stop.
And even with your daughter, if she wants to be an artist, that has been really the easiest way for secret artists to get into the industry. Dream is a songwriter turned artist. Neo, songwriter turned artist. Yeah, Missy, songwriter turned artist. You know what I'm saying? So you have so many artists that that's how they got in the door. And that people gave them deals. So, you know, these people wrote Beyonce, you know, Neo wrote the To the Left, and then you have Dream writing Umbrella by Rihanna, you know, that's how they got their artist deals. So songwriter could be the quickest.
It could be the best, because, and I bring up Candy Burris.
Yeah,
Excellent songwriter, but her singing, she needs to write.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's right.
She's not a singer.
Yeah.
Not a front singer.
Right.
But that's a young lady from Memphis. Her name is Kirby Doctor. I don't know if you, yeah, she's on Memphis. She did Memphis Music Commission. She was part of Stacks. Kirby, and then she went on to Berkeley. She's a phenomenal singer. But if you go to her Facebook, she's not like this, because she just wrote a couple songs for Beyonce and a few other people. She living out in LA now. And she started out, you know, like you said, her thing was, I'm a singer. But then she found out when she got around other people, that's creative people, saying, well, you know, you got a gift to somebody. And these are things that you have to understand. Now, one other thing that Tracy put up, there's a difference between a singer and a performer. Because a lot of, we in Memphis, basically every other person can sing. But there's a difference between being a singer and a performer. You know, because after you make that record, and trust me, we can twist a whole lot of knobs, you know, and make the record sound like a record. But when it's all said and done, a lot of times what happens with radio, you still got to go out there and do promos. You got to sing that, and sometimes Tracy said, sing us a little something while you're in here in the studio. And they sound like hot topics. Simply because they were never taught, you know, to be ready on the spot and be able to perform. So that's another thing you have to understand as far as you artists out here. Make sure that you're not just, you know, doing vocal exercises, or vocal aerobics, you know, and you can actually entertain a crowd. You know, because that's where the Whitneys and the Aretha Franklins, you know, that's where they get their difference.
So guys, we're winding, because in a minute our time will be up. So if you've got questions, now is the time to ask those questions. Even if they may be songwriting, production, what the radio, what Stylez does in the club. We need your questions now, because when our time is up, it's up. Question.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Actually, it's a twofold.
Okay.
My first question is, do you have a distribution?
Digital order.
Okay.
Social media.
My next question is, when you first got started, what was if you can take me through the process? I'm talking about when you had a song, come out the studio, your first order of business was.
Well, my first thing, I was one of the ones that thought, hey, I recorded my first project here in Ardent Studios. I mixed it, had the fortunate blessing to have my album mixed at Paisley Park. So when I finished, I was one of the ones that was waiting by my phone. I thought that was it. You know, so from learning from that mistake on my second project, before my song Ooh Wee was able to get on the radio, I bought airtime to run the commercials for a month, 30 days. So I had some money, I put some money on my commercial, and in my background, I'm advertising myself. That was my thing. And so then I started the social media phase. Social media part of it, I wasn't big on, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I wasn't big on that because I'm like, I don't want to know when somebody's the one that knows what people want to be engaged, like the activity, the engagement. They want to know what's going on. So I'm taking pictures as I'm recording, I'm video, I'm doing the whole nine, just like these major cats are doing. I'm doing what I can do on my part, along with going to work every day. I'm still doing my thing in all facets and putting out my own video. Had I known, but I didn't know this about YouTube. I didn't know at the time to monetize my video.
Oh God.
I didn't know. I didn't know. So I had, my video had over 20,000 views. But I didn't know I'm at a Super Bowl party and the guy was telling me, hey man, I see you got some views or anything, blah, blah, blah. I know your text must be nice. I'm like, no. So all of these things, being able to put your package and activity together, monetizing your videos. If it's a video just of me talking,
I don't want to cut you off, but I heard him say, what happened? So what happened? You found that you had not monetized your video. What did you do?
I monetized it. But you have to put all of those pieces together. I don't have a team behind me. It's just me. So when I Twitter blast, I have to remind myself, hey man, you need to do something on Twitter. I don't do things weekly performances here in the city because I think that for an artist, for me, I think you would get played out real quick because like Kirk was saying, everybody here can sing. Yeah. So it's going to be like, hey, you got something new out? Now I just performed last week, you got me. So you have to make yourself a little scarce, I believe, in being seen and unseen. So make people miss you.
Stop.
One thing I like to tell most artists that's in this market, YouTube, the Instagram, the social media is good, but you still need that local street support, especially when you're trying to go mainstream radio. Like most artists, what we do, like for what I've done was, I'm from Boston. When I came here, I saw a market where the DJs were playing. We were everywhere. You know what I'm saying? The artists would bring a DJ a song. We weren't together on if Mr. Dale come out with a song. Well, we need to bring Mr. Dale in. Let's have a meet and greet, but all the DJs are there, and we listen to that song. And the DJ will pick out of the 14 songs that you have, what song we think that the people will listen to. Right. In the club set. We handle the club scene, so we know what our people want. So, like when I get the artists come in, and again, it's presentation. I have artists come in that they don't look like an artist. They come in with a t-shirt, jeans, and hey, I'm an artist, play track 1. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to give you. I'm not going to kill my dance floor to play track 1. First of all, I don't know what you look like or sound like. But then I have this artist that come in. He's coming in with his CD packaged up. I have to open the package. He has people snapping pictures. He's passing out CDs. Oh, this guy has some movement. I'm gonna pay attention to this guy. Let me hear what he's doing, and I'm gonna play it because first of all, his appearance caught the eye of the people in the club. Everybody's like, "Who is this dude? You know what I mean? He's passing down his music. So your appearance, your presentation is everything. You know what I mean? Even though you might not be a millionaire, look like it. You know what I'm saying? Come in looking like a millionaire. It could be like the Hot Boys. They had fake everything, fake gold, fake jewelry, but they looked like they had it. When they came in, and I personally know Turk, one of the Hot Boys, and he was like, Stylez, everything you see in that video, it was fake, man. But they didn't know it. You know what I'm saying? We didn't know. So it's not about what you got, it's all about your presentation.
It's